Welcome into our weekly conversation with TCC men's basketball head coach Zach Settembre. Zach, what's going on, man?
How are you? Doing well. Excited to be here.
Man, 1 week in the books, obviously a little stranger, obviously a little later, but just to hit the floor again, be playing basketball, it's got to be a great feeling.
We're just excited. It's been a long time in preparation, a lot of recruiting, a lot of preparation, but the reality for us is like we're in the midst of an 8-game and 17-day stretch. It's come really fast, right? You have a lot of time to feel like you're getting ready, and then when it's here, it's here. So this team has been the most locked-in team that I've had since being here, and got a lot of guys that care about each other, that like each other, and just a fun group to be around, a fun group to coach.
And you know, when you take a look at playing that many games in that long of a stretch, especially after you haven't played competitively for so long, I know you've got a lot of bodies, and we'll get into that in a second, but when you have that many games in that span of time, just how much are you preaching conditioning?
Our guys would tell you that we preach conditioning a lot. We do run a lot. I mean, we have 15 players, 11 or 12 guys that are really competing for minutes and doing a great job. And every single guy in practice on a daily basis is very competitive, and they understand the standards and the expectations of what we expect here. Conditioning is huge because in a 40-minute game when you're playing, we have a 5-game and 10-day stretch coming up. So when you're playing and it's the second half and there's 8 minutes to go and it's a 2-point game, we just have to be able to look at each other and go, you know what, the things that we've done to get to this point, it would be tougher for us to quit than for us to keep going. So we just have to keep going, persevere, figure it out. And this group's got tremendous resolve. We're a very tough, mentally strong group. And I think what makes this group special so far is their ability to get along with each other, their ability to sacrifice, their ability to share, and make sacrifices ultimately that are going to impact this team, not just this year, but in the long term as they move on to their next destination.
I know before the season started, you told us off the record, you told us on the record, this team is going to play defense. And so far, they've lived up to that. The Jets and the Hawks had some issues, shall we say, but let's really get into that. What has pleased you the most about how your guys are playing defense right now, and what's maybe surprised you early on in these first 2 games?
Our team has used the preparation that we've done and really taken it to heart. We've got guys locked in when we're in the film room. In practice every day on the floor, our guys are competing. When you have a lot of really good players, it makes it tough to take a day off. It makes it tough to take a play off. So because we have so many really good players, our depth is really good, our guys don't have the option to not be locked in defensively. Defense is something we take so much pride in, and when you have a group that is very athletic, that rebounds the ball well, we can be in every game, even if we don't shoot the ball well. For instance, on Saturday, we shot 32%, but we have guys that are so willing to rebound, to create contact when the shot goes up, to guard the ball without fouling, that it makes it a fun group to coach, knowing that even if we're not having success on the offensive end, our guys aren't going to bring that back to the defensive end of the floor. And when you have guys that are bought into playing team defense and playing together, it makes it fun to coach because, again, you know you're going to be in every game.
And, you know, to reverse that, in Hillsborough, against Hillsborough on Saturday, not only did the offense not affect the defense eventually affects the offense. You have that big run right before halftime to kind of make it from this is a game where this could get dicey to you blink and it's out of reach to a certain extent. Just how nice is that to know that the intensity and the effort, knowing that the results come, knowing that you get those breakaways, knowing that you get those quick points if you just keep that intensity and effort?
It's an amazing feeling because knowing we were up 25-20 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. We could not score, legitimately could not make a basket. And in a less than 2-minute span, we go on a 12-0 run, so a 25-20 lead becomes a 37-20 halftime lead. And when guys realize that if we will just guard consistently, that it is going to free some things up. We got some easy baskets at the rim. When you see the ball go through the net, it just gives you a little bit of a sense of relief, like, okay, you know, we can score, this is going to happen. And once we broke the ice, it was a little bit of an avalanche offensively. So we know that we're going to have stretches where we struggle offensively. And to be honest, when you play so hard defensively and the standard is set so high and we're asking guys so much to do defensively, it can take a toll on your offense because you're spending so much energy and effort on defense. So I think this group is still learning how to play together on the offensive end, and we've spent more time on defense knowing that with this crazy COVID year, teams were going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball offensively, as we still are. But if we could be great defensively, we felt like that was going to give us a leg up. And like you said, defense has led to offense in both games so far. When we've put consecutive stops together, 3 or 4 possessions in a row, we've been able to go on multiple big runs, and that's been the difference in the first 2 wins.
You know, switching over to that offense now, first game, you're in Americus, you're playing the Jets. Maybe not always shooting-wise the game you wanted. I'd say definitely a better one than you had in that first half on Saturday. But you're still driving, you're still playing hard, and more than anything, you're getting to the line.
Getting to the foul line for us has been a huge emphasis, because last year, even though we shot the ball incredibly well, we shot over 40% from 3 last year. We made 362 threes in 33 games. That was, for us, it was an opportunity last year because we were always going to make shots. We had so many good shooters, and we were always going to make shots. This team, maybe not quite as skilled, but more athletic. So because we're so good defensively, because we have guys that can get to the rim and create for others, we've preached be in attack mode, get downhill. Our offense is a little bit less structured this year versus last year. We ran more sets and had more structure last year. But knowing how athletic this team is, knowing that we have multiple guards that are really good getting downhill and getting to the rim and creating for others and getting to the foul line, just gives us another weapon that we didn't necessarily have on last year's team. So I think the thing that we feel so good about with this group is we can play multiple ways. We can play really fast and be small and switch 1 through 5. We have 2 guys we can throw the ball inside to in the post and be a little bit bigger. So we've got multiple ways we can play. Different teams in our league are different. Gulf Coast is going to press like crazy. Chipola's pressing 40 minutes a game. Northwest Florida's got giants. They got 2 guys, 6'10", 6'11", a lot of size. So everybody in our league is different, and we feel really confident that we can match up with everybody with different lineups that we have because of our depth.
And you know, you mentioned that depth, and I think you bring up a good point there. A lot of people think the depth, you tire people down, you're on the floor. I think that's because of the town we live in and how Florida State plays to an extent. But you brought up something different in that you have so many guys on this roster that you feel like you can play. When you feel like you can play 12, 13, 14, 15 dudes, but you're going up against defenses that are so different and styles that are so different, just how nice is it to know that not only do I have a roster that's deep to where I always have the energy, but I've got different strengths and skill sets and guys who can play certain games better for me than other games. To know that you have those options to attack different defenses and different schemes.
It certainly makes us as a staff rest much easier because we've got a group that, like you said, can play multiple ways, and for us, we have to keep our guys engaged because there are going to be games where guys score 10 or 12 points and they play 20 to 25 minutes. Then the next game they may play 8 minutes. So for us, we've got to be in a position where we just continue to be selfless, continue to be very defensive, defense oriented, because that's going to consistently keep guys on the floor. But for us, knowing that we can play multiple ways, and we've got a lot of guys that can make shots, we've got a lot of guys that can defend, and we have a lot of guys that can match up with the different teams in our league. And we knew that in recruiting, that we had to be able to play multiple ways if we were going to win the league again. So it certainly gives us a lot of confidence that every single game we're going to be able to match up with whatever the other team puts on the floor. And for us, it just, again, continues to be about, can we put stops together? Can we continue to play good defense? Can we be selfless enough and sacrifice enough to be on a team that can win the national championship and cut nets down?
Now, I did want to brag on the offense for a little bit, and especially as a couple certain guys, because the way we've been talking about this offense, you wouldn't think this is a 2-0 basketball squad, but you've obviously had some guys who've come out, taken a step forward, looked really, really good. Guy who really impressed me on Saturday, Eaton Collins.
Yeah, Eaton is a guy who we picked up at the break. So he was at a Division II school out in Oregon. They canceled their season, and Eaton has just come in with such a hungry desire to be really good. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and we coach Eaton really hard because he's tough, he's got a great body, he's a shot maker, he's a great kid too, so he understands what it takes, and we're just trying to be as firm and aggressive with all of our guys and just wanting them to be the best version of themselves and pushing them hard. And Eaton's a guy that can get downhill with his left hand. Again, you saw him catch and shoot 3 threes on Saturday, so we've got a lot of good offensive players. It's difficult when you're playing 11 players to get everybody into a rhythm, and we know that. So that's one of the reasons we've probably not shot the ball as well as we can and will, because we've got so many guys just kind of being shuffled in and out of the lineup. And with this group, knowing our depth, It's just going to be which 8 or 9 or 10 guys are playing in one game. The very next game, it may be a different 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 guys. So Eton's good. We got a lot of good players. Sean Walker's another guy that has just been so solid for us. We know, obviously, L. Ellis is going to come around, and we've got some other guys that haven't made shots yet, but that are going to make shots. We got a lot of good offensive players. Our philosophy in recruiting has always been recruit really good offense and coach defense. And so far, the really good offense that we've recruited has been great defensively. And I think while we're a little bit behind offensively, that's going to catch up. And we're spending a lot more time on offense in practice this week. And hopefully that'll start to show itself here in the next few games.
And you mentioned it, guys you signed over the break. Because basketball is now a spring sport for this season, you can sign those guys in that spring semester during that break, and they're ready to go. And with those fresh faces, you mentioned Collins. I know we talked a little bit off camera about Josh Rubio and what he brought. I mean, he's a guy who's been here for a week and a half now, and he's playing. He scored 7 points in Americas last week. When you've got so many fresh faces, and when I say fresh, I mean really fresh,
Right.
How nice is it to know that they've been able to pick up and play for you right away, and it hasn't been one of those things where, well, this is a real work in progress and we're not sure about this guy yet. How nice is it as a coach to know that you have the confidence in those players to go out and play right away?
It's really nice because I think when you have such a good culture, it makes it easy and very clear for new guys to come in and understand this is what I have to do. This is the standard. This is the expectation. So when you have such a strong culture and everyone in your program does things the right way, new guys come in and go, whoa, you know, if I'm going to play here, I got to do the right thing, right? I got to be locked in. I have to listen to coach. I have to play hard every possession. I have to be consistent with my effort. So Josh Rubio is a guy that if he continues to learn our system and make adjustments defensively and do the things offensively that we want him to do and that we know he can do well, he's got a chance to be a really good player for us because he's a 4 and a 5 man that can make shots. He's got a great body. He's very physical. So we just, knowing that we can bring guys in and they can instantly see the impact they can have if they will do it the Tallahassee way, if they will give in to the accepting the hard coaching and running sprints and touching the line and making times and playing defense in the full court and rebounding with ferocity every possession, then we can be really good.
You know, you mentioned culture and effort, and obviously you've always preached high intensity since you've been here. That bench is always going to be live. This place is always going to be wild, except it can't necessarily be wild in the way we want. I mean, you see the social distancing stickers behind me. No fans allowed right now at the Eagle Dome. To still have that bench, to be as live and as energetic. I mean, you guys, late in the game that you're up big, you have someone taking a charge in front of a clear dunk, and the bench is going crazy even though this game is clear in hand. Just how important was it to you that even though the season's not going to look the way that we traditionally think of January, February, March, to bring that energy, to bring that excitement, and kind of keep that tempo alive?
This team understands if they're going to get in the game, they have to be great when they're out of the game. And our bench energy is really important to me because we have to bring our own juice, right? There's no fans in the crowd. We are going to have some road games where there's some fans, so our guys have to be our fans. They have to be our cheerleaders. So when you're on the bench, you're wearing multiple hats. You have to be watching what's going on in the game to know when you do get in the game and get your opportunity, how to be ready, how to attack the other team. But knowing that our guys like each other makes it really easy to encourage guys to cheer for their teammates. We've got so many selfless guys that have made sacrifices. We have 15 guys that could be starting on most junior colleges in the country. We've had 2 different starting lineups so far. I would assume that will continue to change. So for us, it's just on our guys to buy into the fact that playing on a top 5 team requires selflessness. It requires sacrifice. And the energy and the togetherness, watching our bench after guys take charges, watching our bench after we get a steal and a finish, it just makes it so much fun. This team has been fun to coach so far, and like you said, we are a very high intensity, high passion program. We demand a lot of our guys. We're in a position with this team to be really special if we can keep our energy, our attitude, our approach the same. And if we can do that, we have a chance, I think, to put another Panhandle Conference banner up and like what's most important to us, get our guys to Division I. Last year led the country, 9 Division I letters of intent signed. This group can do the same thing if we continue to do what we're doing.
You know, a lot of games and not a lot of time, 2 under the belt. whole lot still to play, but these next 7 days, what are you looking at and what are you looking forward to?
So Andrew College tomorrow night. We know that's going to be really tough. We beat Andrew on a buzzer beater last year. Eric Huster made a 3 at the buzzer to win 73-70. They're really tough. They got a lot of Georgia guys, Alabama guys that are hungry, that play with a chip on their shoulder, guys we like to recruit. And they're well coached. Jamison Williams did a really good job. And so we know that Andrew's going to be a dogfight, and that's our focus right now. We can only win the next game, the game that's tomorrow night. We play St. Pete College on Saturday at our place in the second round of the Florida Shootout. St. Pete has had a lot of success. Ernest Crumbly's done a great job for a long time. And again, another team very athletic. They're going to crash the glass hard. We have to be fundamentally sound defensively. We have to step up and take charges. The ball has to keep moving like it has the first 2 games. And then Monday, we play South Georgia Tech again. So in the next 6 days, we have 3 games. We're going to be tested. They're all home games, which is nice. It's great to play at the Eagle Dome and be in front of our fans, even if they're cardboard cutouts. We love the comfort of our gym that we practice in every day. But just trying to get guys to individually continue to make progress, take steps forward. Defensively, as a team, let's continue to finish up and cure the fine points that we've missed out on, because we've been great the first half in 2 games. We gave up 28 Wednesday against South Georgia Tech in the first half, and then 20 on Saturday. So we're averaging giving up 24 in the second half, but we gave up 40 in the second half to South Georgia Tech and 38 to Hillsboro. So 24 average in the first half, giving up 39 in the second half. That's not going to win if we continue to do that. So we got to stay more engaged, trying to get our guys to play 2 consistent halves, play hard even with a lead. Those are things we're still coming around on, but just trying to get our guys to continue to do the same things in terms of being selfless, making sacrifices, being as energized for your teammates as you are for yourself. If we can do that, this team's got a chance to put a nice string of wins together and have a lot of momentum going into conference play.
3 games in 6 days, it's not something that any coach looks at the calendar and smiles at. But the fact that it is home games and the fact that they're at the end, South Georgia Tech, an opponent that you've faced before, is there at least some sort of satisfaction in knowing that, hey, I've seen this and I also know that I'm not going to be hopping on a bus anytime soon?
There's great enjoyment in not being on a bus anytime soon, I'll tell you that. I kind of live paranoid. As a coach, you're constantly thinking about the worst case scenario and trying to prepare for, well, if they do this, how are we going to react? What if this happens? So, we know that beating a really tough team and a good team and a well-coached team, Chris Ballou are doing a great job at South Georgia Tech. If we're going to beat them again, we've got to bring the same kind of intensity that we brought. We know that they're going to come in here with very little pressure on them. We already beat them at their place, and they're going to come in and try to get a signature win against a top 5 team. So we've just got to take it one game at a time. Our assistant coaches, Coach Krogh, Noah Krogh, TJ Cox, Dalmar Ali, they're doing such a good job in game preparation and having our guys prepared from a scouting standpoint and watching video on the other team. So if we can be a team that continues to take preparation seriously, continues to focus on each game and not get ahead of ourselves, again, I think we have a chance to put some wins together. But if we're not ready for Andrew College tomorrow night, we're going to get beat. I mean, that's just a fact. So we've got to focus on one game at a time, but knowing that if we do the things we're capable of and stay locked in and continue to listen to our coaches and be willing to make sacrifices, we've got a chance to win, in my opinion, every game on our schedule.
2 games down, a whole bunch to go, but of course, going to be really, really exciting to see how these Eagles grow every step of the way. Coach Zach Settembre, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.